Hey YouTube, it's Sarah here with Crimson and Wool, and all right, it's finally happening. I have a new tutorial for you that will include outfits. I have many messages asking for outfits for a doll, and so I have been working literally this past year on a new pattern that has so much versatility to it. So this pattern specifically will just be for the doll. And then you're not going to have to wait, but I will have a tutorial on a separate tutorial that will be attached to the description box that will include a hairstyle and then the dress. And so this is a removable dress. And so that will be attached to this specific pattern in the description box. But let's go ahead and talk through, for those of you who just want to get straight to the tutorial, I will leave a timestamp below for you, but I would love for you to spend some time with me to kind of explain this. If you've been around for quite some time, I really strive to have simple tutorials that work up relatively quickly, and so that is my goal. This pattern in particular does incorporate a few new things, but I think once you get the hang of it, you'll understand why I did it the way I did it, and it will help to be able to make so many different dolls. And so let's go ahead and take a look. This is my new vintage doll pattern. This could be created for so many things: a boy, a girl, a bear, a bunny, whatever you think. My goal was to make a doll that could sit comfortably. I also wanted to make a low to no sew doll, which this is. And then we do incorporate some color change for the undergarments. That way we don't just have a bear doll. And then we are going to be adding the hair to the doll. So then that way you don't have to make a wig cap. You could actually just sew or crochet the hair strands onto this. And so you'll see here that a round of working in the back loop only here and here create these strands to work the hair strands into. So we have that as your detail. And then it could be a little confusing the way we work the hair at first, but I'm going to walk you through this as best I can. If I could do this, I guarantee that you could do this. I'll give you a lot of tips and tricks, but if you notice here, like we have our color change back here, which is a little noticeable, but you're not going to see that here. And so I've come up with this process that helps with that, and it's pretty simple once you get the hang of it. And so yeah, you could see here this doll measures around 11 inches, and the supplies that you will need to make this doll are right here. We have a 4mm crochet hook, a stitch marker, we have a tapestry needle. You're gonna need polyfill, way more than this, but I just wanted to show that. 10mm safety eyes, you have your scissors, and then 4 main colors. So you're gonna need your skin tone, you're gonna need your garment color. Normally I go for white, your hair color, and then a little black that's gonna be for this eye detail. And so also optional is some blush and something to apply your blush with. So that is the supplies that you will need to make this doll. And I think that's about it. I hope you guys love this pattern. I've spent a lot of time trying to create it, really working out all the kinks so that it is able to function in a lot of ways, especially with the things that you guys have been asking for. And so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and start with the arms. Starting with a magic circle, you're going to work 6 single crochets into the magic circle. You are more than welcome to chain 3 and join and then work your 6 single crochets into that, whatever works for you. All right, for round 2, you're going to work 2 single crochets. If you want, you could go ahead and place your stitch marker. So that would be 1, 2, and then increase into the 3rd stitch. And repeat that, 2 single crochets and an increase. All right, let's go ahead and tie off our tail. So you should have a total of 8 single crochets for round 2. Round 3 will be 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. And I like to cup the arm at this point. For round 4, you are going to work 6 single crochets, then a decrease. So go ahead and place your stitch marker. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then a decrease into the last 2 stitches, leaving you with a total of 7 single crochets for round 4. For round 5, you are going to work 5 single crochets and then a decrease. And that's going to leave you with a total of 6 stitches for round 5. Rounds 6 through 14, which is 10 rounds, you are simply going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch. You're going to have 6 single crochets for each round. So go ahead and continue working. You can definitely work up the whole arm and then stuff, or you could stuff as you go. All right, so I've stuffed up to about right here. You don't want this part of the arm to be stuffed. You want it to be able to move, but you do want the bottom part stuffed. All right, so we've completed up to round 14. So we are gonna close the arm off now. What I like to do is work over both stitches here, and we're gonna work 3 single crochets. We're going to insert our hook through both sides right here, yarn over, pull up. You have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to repeat that 2 more times. And then this third one is going to pop through over here, right through here. So I inserted my hook through both sides right here and worked a single crochet. So we have 3 stitches, and leave a long enough tail, maybe like 6 to 8 inches, just because I do, once I crochet this onto the body, because it will be attaching here, I like to take this and secure the corner. So That's just a little tip. We'll talk about that more when we get to that part of the pattern. So you're going to want to make 2 of these. So go ahead and make another one. Have these ready. So I like to get the arms done first. That way they're ready to go. I just kind of wrap them up like this and put them off to the side. And let's go ahead and get started on the leg. All right, starting off with a magic circle, you are going to work 6 single crochets. Round 2 will be an increase round, working 2 single crochets into each stitch. That is going to leave you with a total of 12 single crochets for round 2. Round 3 will be another increase round, working 1 single crochet and then a single crochet increase. You're going to repeat that all the way around, leaving you with a total of 18 stitches for round 3. Round 4 will be a single crochet into each stitch all the way around, but you're going to be working that into the back loop only. So insert your hook and just work each single crochet into that back loop only. That's leaving you with a total of 18 stitches for round 5. We are going to be working some decreases. So you're going to first work 3 single crochets, and then 6 single crochet decreases. For the 6 single crochet decreases, I work into the front loop only. So I'm going to insert my hook into the front loop of the next stitch, wrap around, insert into the front loop only of the next stitch. I'm going to yarn over, pull through those 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the last 2 remaining loops. That's going to be my decrease, so I'm going to work that 5 more times. All right, and now we have 3 stitches remaining. Go ahead and work a single crochet into the last 3 stitches. That's going to leave you with a total of 12 stitches for round 5. For round 6, we are going to work 3 single crochets and then 3 single crochet decreases. 1, 2, 3. You have 3 stitches remaining. Work a single crochet into the last 3 stitches. All right, so we have our foot. At this point, I'm going to stuff just a little bit. All right, so we are going to be working a slip stitch. This is not going to be counting as a round, but I like to do this because it supports the ankle and it helps create that foot shape. So just bear with me. It might seem complicated at first. I promise you it's not. It's super easy, but I'm just going to walk you through this slowly, okay? So this is not counting as a round. We're going to be working a slip stitch. We don't want to work this super tight, but not super loose. So we're just going to basically work a slip stitch into each stitch all the way around. So I'm just going through each stitch and working a slip stitch. You're going to feel that it's already getting tighter. All right, so we have our foot right here, and we worked a slip stitch into each stitch, not counting as a round. So now moving on to round 7, we're working a single crochet, but we're not going to be working into the slip stitch. That's going to be too tight. So we're going to actually go down into that last round of round 6 and work it over that slip stitch. So you'll see right here, that's where we're working it. It's right below it. You could easily push your hook through it right here, but not here. So we're not working it into the slip stitch because we're going to work it over, and that's going to create this really supported ankle. And so let's go ahead and work that. You could count, you could place your stitch marker if you like right here after you work your stitch. So let's just work through this slowly. So insert my hook, yarn over, and work a single crochet. So that was 1. You want to have a total of 9 stitches. So 1, insert under, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so as you could see here, everything looks nice and clean. If you find this difficult, then you could definitely take out the slip stitch and just work a single crochet as normal into round 7. It's just a little tip and trick that I like to do for the leg and ankle area, but give it a try. Mess around with it, get the hang of it. Sometimes things like this can seem daunting and frustrating, but just keep trying it out. I promise you'll be able to get it. All right, let's continue on. Rounds 8 through 17, 10 rounds total. You're working a single crochet into each stitch all the way around. Just go ahead and work up the next 10 rounds. I will meet you back at the end of round 17. And don't forget to stuff as you go. So as you could see, as we're stuffing, you have a really defined foot. And I feel like when we did the single crochet or the slip stitch round with the single crochets over it, it helps make that area super tight. So when you're stuffing, it doesn't bulge out and look like just a ball at the end of the leg. You have a defined foot. And so that was the whole process of creating that round. All right, so I finished up to round 17. And we have stuffed as we worked up the leg. We don't want to stuff all the way to the top. We want to leave a little bit of space there because we're going to be pinching this closed. So we don't want it to be too stuffed right here. Now, we're not really working around, but we want to work up to get over to this area to close it. So I'd say working 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 should bring you to the front. If you feel you need to do 5 or 3, then go ahead and do that. I put 4 stitches in the pattern. That usually what works for me. But if you need to do 5 or 3, then go ahead and do so. So what we are going to do is remove our stitch marker. We want to make sure that the leg is even as we work to close the leg here. So just like we did with the arm, we're going to insert our hook through both sides right here and work a single crochet. We're going to be working 4 total. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 single crochets evenly across, and then go ahead and leave just about 6 inches there. You are going to sew this into the leg, this tail end. Just go ahead and sew it in and secure this like so. We don't want to pull too tightly here. We want to be able to maintain that stitch, and just work this through the leg to secure that. And you are going to work up another leg. All right, so we have finished both legs here, you could see. So now we are going to join these legs and start working up the body. So what I like to do is get them positioned so that they are front facing evenly. So we're joining our legs. We have them even, both legs front facing, even here. We're not working through both sides of the leg here. We're going to be working through just one loop. So all of these back loops here is where we're working the background, working around, coming through the front, working into the front loop on this side. So let me walk you through this. We are going to attach, if your leg falls, that's fine. Go ahead and attach your yarn here. This is not counting as a stitch. And then we're working our first single crochet into this left leg right here. So go ahead and work your first single crochet. And we're basically working 20 single crochets evenly all the way around here. But I do have a stitch count for you. So before we actually begin the round, let's go ahead and place our stitch marker. That way we don't lose track. All right, so I'm trying to make sure I have a good angle for you guys. All right, so we worked our first single crochet, so that would be 1, and then 2, and sorry, it got caught there, and 3. So that's 3 single crochets. And then you're working an increase on this last stitch. So 2 single crochets into that last stitch. Turning your leg. There is a stitch right here. That's what we're going to work into. We're going to work 2 single crochets into that stitch right there. So 1 and 2. And now we are going to work 3 single crochets into these front loops. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and we could pull this tail so that it brings it a little tighter, kind of just get it out of the way. Now we're working into the next leg. We are going to work 4 single crochets, so working into this front loop right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Increase into that last stitch in the front loop only. 1, 2. Turn your work, and you're going to work 4 single crochets into the loops right here that are remaining. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so as you could see here, we have worked all the way around. You should have a total of 20 single crochets. All right, so we completed round 18. I like to leave this, and I'm gonna secure this once I've worked the body up a little bit more, and then I'll show you how to do that. So just kind of leave this tail in there for right now. Round 19 is an increase round, so go ahead and work 4 single crochets. So insert 1 And then move your stitch marker up. 2, 3, 4, and then work an increase. That's the pattern repeat, is 4 single crochets and an increase. And that's going to leave you with a total of 24 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Increase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Increase. And last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase. All right, you should have a total of 24 stitches for round 19. So let's go ahead and get this tail end out of the way. You could have just simply worked it into your round as you go, but I just kind of like to have extra security here. So I kind of bring it through and tighten that up. That way, if there is some sort of a gap that was created here, you can secure it. And then I bring it through over here and just pop it through some stitches, but then I'm going to wrap it through to tie it off before I pull that loop through all the way. And that's just going to secure that in place. And I like to tie an extra knot. And you could simply just stuff that in or cut off a little bit of that yarn, and you are secure to go. All right, we are making our way through. We have attached the legs, we are working up the body. So let's continue on to rounds 20 through 22. So for the next 3 rounds, 20 through 22, it's 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. And I will meet you back at the end of round 22. So I'm coming to the end of round 22, and we are going to be working a color change. I like to work my color changes into the last stitch of the round. Go ahead and work your single crochet. You're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook, and then you are going to attach your skin tone and pull through those 2 loops. I like to take the tail and the white or the skin or the like garment color and tighten that up. And now we are going to be working into the back loop only for round 23. 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, back loop only. Round 24 is going to be a decrease round. We're working 4 single crochets and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Front loop only of the next 2 stitches. Work your decrease, then repeat that pattern repeat. 4 single crochets and a decrease. So once you have completed that pattern repeat all the way around, you're going to have a total of 20 single crochets for round 24. Round 25 is 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around for a total of 20 single crochets. You are going to be working a color change into the last stitch of this round. Okay, so changing color into our last stitch of round 25. Go ahead and insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 2 loops on your hook. Grab the white and pull through 2. All right, so now we are going to move on. Rounds 26 through 28, which is 3 rounds total, 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around. That's 20 stitches for each round. Can leave your skin tone here because we'll be grabbing that again after we complete the next 3 rounds. So continue working and I'll meet you back at the end of round 28. We have made it to the end of round 28. We do have 1 stitch remaining because we are going to work a color change. Go ahead and insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, drop the white, pick up your skin tone, and then pull through both loops. That has secured our color change. You could go ahead and remove the white for now, and then we are going to work up the next round, which is round 29. We're working in the back loop only for this round, so go ahead and work 1 single crochet back loop only into each stitch all the way around. All right, so here is our body so far. We're gonna stuff just a little bit. Make sure you push down and get into these corners first. And then that's good, just so that we get this bottom portion stuffed before we work up the arms. We are going to attach these. Round 30, we are going to be attaching the arms. So it is calling for 5 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want the arms to be simply attached evenly like so. So if your stitch count is off any bit, just make sure that your arms are even with the body here, and then compensate for whatever stitches you need to have in between. But I'm going to walk you through what the pattern calls for. We're going to line our arm up with the body here, and we're going to make sure it's nice and even, and we're working 3 single crochets to attach the arm. We are going to work through both of the stitches on the arm and into the body, as you could see here. Okay, 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, and 3. I like to always have this yarn here, or this tail from the arm, to secure the arms extra in place. It's just something I like to do. So yeah, I'm going to leave the tail end till the end so that we can secure it later. So now we are going to continue on working until we are attaching the other arm. I'm going to work 7 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we are going to attach the other arm. We're going to work with the same method, working 3 single crochets to attach the arm onto the body. 1, 2, and 3. We should have 2 stitches remaining, and we work into those 2 remaining stitches, completing the round with a total of 20 single crochets. All right, so let me just kind of talk you through this real quick. Like I said, I like to have these tail ends to secure the arms onto the body a little bit more. It's just something I like to do. I feel like it bridges the gap in between some of the areas that aren't fully attached when adding the arms. If you have a better method, please add it below into the comment section. I think this community is great for those types of things. So before I sew these tail ends in, I want to complete the rest of the body, and then we will address those. we have made it to round 31. This is going to be a decrease round. We're going to work 2 single crochets and then a single crochet decrease. That's the pattern repeat. And we're gonna have a total of 15 single crochets at the end of round 31. I'm going to stuff a little bit more before we continue to round 32. Round 32 will be a decrease round, 1 single crochet and a single crochet decrease. Repeat that all the way around and you will have a total of 10 stitches for round 32. That is going to complete the body portion of the pattern, and then we will be working up the head. Grab a tapestry needle and let's take care of these arm tail ends. So what I like to do is I'm going to insert into the body and pull that tight, and then I'm going to pop it through and grab that little portion of the arm that's hanging there and then bring it back into the body and secure that. I don't know if you see a difference. It's just something I like to do. So like, see how this is kind of hanging off right there? I'm going to do that on this side as well. I'm going to pop it through, grab this portion of the arm and pull that through there, and then insert that back into the body and pull tight. And we have that side secure. And then I like to get this end. So this one's hanging here because we're going to tie them together at the end. And we are going to do the same thing on this side. So grabbing that, popping it through, grabbing a little bit of this corner right here of the arm and pushing that through and tightening that. And then I'm going to grab this side right here, bring that through and push it in and tighten that right there. And we just have those arms extra secure. And then we're going to tie these together. And that should definitely hold those in place. Get those out of the way. And we are good to go. And we're going to work up the head portion now. Round 33 is an increase round. 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around. That will leave you with a total of 20 stitches for the round, and please bear with me. I am going to be out of frame just a little bit for this round and the next round, so I'm so sorry about that. Round 34 is another increase round. 1 single crochet and a single crochet increase. Repeat that all the way around, leaving you with a total of 30 stitches for round 34. All right, so we're gonna work round 35. This is generally just a increase round, but we're gonna be working color change for the hair, and I wanna show you a method that I came up with that I feel like looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. You're going to want to have some stitch markers. I'd say like at least 2 bobby pins and 1 contrasting scrap yarn, especially if this is a portion of the pattern that you might find difficult. I find having some stitch markers might help you out. So let's go ahead and place the contrasting color yarn just to hold place of our round for a second. All right, so the pattern reads 4 single crochets and an increase times 5. So that is 4 single crochets, increase, and you repeat that 5 times. So you could see that I'm working the pattern here. I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself. That way you can have a good visual of what we're doing. So we're simply working 4 single crochets and an increase. Once we get to the end of that section of round 35, then we are going to be working a color change into that last increased stitch. So just stick with me, finish working up that last section, and I'll meet you back to finish off round 35 together. So now we have reached the last portion of round 35. What we have left is 4 single crochets and an increase. All of that's going to be worked in our color change, our new hair color. What I'm showing you here is that we are going to be changing our stitch marker position to the beginning of that color change. This kind of helps the pattern work up a lot more smoothly. So then you're just doing a section of color change for the hair and the skin tone. So let's grab your hair color and work that color change into that last stitch right there. I like to tighten up my tail ends before I officially work into the next stitch. So working per the pattern, work 4 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase. Okay, so we are no longer going to hold a stitch here. We're going to remove that, and we're going to switch our stitch marker to right here, the beginning of the color change. So this process is going to help with not having those jumps on the head. So like when you do a color change, you have a little jump there. It's going to have an even hairline all the way around. Okay, you see that? So that's what we're going to be doing here. So that's why we worked into the last 5 stitches doing that increase. And so now we have our new stitch marker place right here. So before we continue, every stitch from now on for this head portion is just going to be a single crochet, but we're just going to be working color changes. So there's going to be 20 of the hair and 16 of the skin tone. So starting from this portion right here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And into that 17th stitch, we're going to place this other stitch marker. So that is going to be our color change for our hair right there. 16 skin and 20 of the hair. So now we are going to work 1 single crochet into each stitch until we get to the stitch marker, and we're going to work the color change for the skin tone. We don't really need to count right here. We just need to work all the way over till we get to the stitch marker. All right, so once I get to that stitch marker, then we are going to work the last hair color stitch, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then we're going to grab the skin tone. Let that pull through both loops. Right now it's super tight. If we were to continue to work like that, it's going to bunch the face up. We want to have a little bit of tails for each color change. So I'm going to pull that to loosen that tail up a little bit. And then I'm going to work up the skin tone. So we have 16 stitches for our skin tone. We can remove this stitch marker right now, and then that's going to bring us to the end of round 37. So from here on out until the end of round 43, we are going to work a single crochet into each stitch, and just simply color change as we hit either the hair or the skin tone. So I'm in the last stitch of round 37 and I am going to work my color change. So doing what I did before, I'm going to grab the brown, I'm going to bring it over, pull through both those loops, and I'm going to loosen this so that it's not so tight. I'm pulling on the brown and that working yarn right here and tightening that up. And then I'm going to start with round 38. So round 38, the first 20 stitches are going to be worked in the back loop only. You are not going to see it in the video. It is something I caught after. And so you are going to work the first 20 stitches of round 38, the brown portion or your hair color in the back loop only. And then once you get back to the skin tone, go ahead and work through both loops. The reason we do this is it's going to create a area to attach hair afterwards, and I'll explain that a little bit more later, but just take note, the first 20 stitches of round 38 work in the back loop only. So right there you have this back loop, so you'll have that there. You'll notice that in the edit. Go ahead and continue working each round the same way, 20 in the hair color and 16 in the skin tone. All right, so I am continuing around, still working up the same process. I just want to give you a visual update to help if you need it. I like to always pull as I'm working. The key is to make sure there's enough tension between your color changing and then tightening up as you work. So then that way this area is nice and tight. All right, so I am at the end of round 43. I'm getting there. So this is going to be the last area we work our skin tone. So when we color change for the beginning of round 44, we can go ahead and cut off that skin tone yarn. So go ahead and grab the brown, pull, and then start your first stitch for the next round. So we have completed up to round 44. Let's place our safety eyes. You are going to grab 10mm safety eyes. So let's grab those. I found this amazing link. It will be in the description box below. It is just for safety backings. I find that these are super secure. I always like to use these and some hot glue to secure my backing. Just a little tip. But go ahead and grab your safety eyes. We have the beginning of our head round at 33, so we're going to be placing our eyes between rounds 38 and 39. So that's 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. So right here is our first eye, and 5 visible stitches apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then place your other eye. There is our safety eyes, and let's secure those. And I also like to stuff at this point. But let's talk about all these strings real quick. So there's a few things you could do. You can definitely leave them if you've given enough tension then you could stuff around. Or what I like to do personally is just cut them all down the middle like so. So what I like to do for extra security is I am going to flip the head over, and then I'm going to take each colored yarn, so one of the skin tone, one of the hair color, and I'm going to tie that twice just to have it extra secure. I'm going to do that all the way down, and honestly, like, this step does not take too long. It might feel like an extra step, but honestly, like, it'll probably take you like a minute or two to complete both sides. Now, you might be saying, why don't you just do this as you work up the head? I find that it is more work to cut each time and tie it than to just grab your yarn, have enough tension, and then go along. So that's the process I like. But please, you do you, and you go ahead and do what you find works best for you. That is the joy of crafting, right? And you could go ahead and cut those, but I just leave them in there. They're gonna be stuffed with the head anyway. So as you could see here, we have some good lines there. One side always looks better than the other, but you are honestly going to cover this up with stitches, so you're good. Let's go ahead and stuff some. Round 45 will be 1 single crochet into each stitch, back loop only, all the way around. All right, so I've completed round 45. And now we're just going to be working decrease rounds to finish off the rest of the head. But if you notice here, we have our front loop only round. That's where we're going to attach our hair strands. So that is what that round is for. But now let's go ahead and finish off the head. Round 46 will be 4 single crochets and a decrease. And that's the pattern repeat, and you will continue working that all the way around with a total of 30 single crochets for round 46. Round 47, continuing with decreases, working 3 single crochets, then a decrease. You're going to repeat that all the way around, leaving you with a total of 24 stitches for the round. Before we continue, let's stuff. I like to make sure that I stuff right around the cheek area first, and then just kind of continue to turn the doll and stuff so that your stuffing is even. You are going to continue to stuff, but make sure that you don't have the stuffing bulging out because we still have to continue working the decrease rounds. So let's go ahead and move on to round 38. For round 38, you will be working 2 single crochets and then a decrease. Repeat that all the way around, leaving you with a total of 18 single crochets. And continuing along, round 49 will be 1 single crochet and then a single crochet decrease. Again, your pattern repeat, and you will repeat that all the way around, leaving you with a total of 12 stitches. So we are making our way to the last round. Just continue working this round, and I'll meet you back for round 50. Before we finish off with round 50, let's go ahead and continue stuffing. finish stuffing any areas that feel like they need to be stuffed. You always need a little bit more stuffing than you think, but of course the gauge is you don't want to have it overstuffed to where your stitches are bulging. So we have come to round 50. This is our last round. It will simply be a decrease into each stitch all the way around. And you're going to be left with a total of 6 stitches. You're going to want to leave a long enough tail so that you can close in that gap, and then also using that tail to create your eyebrows. So you'll be stitching on your eyebrows with that tail end. Go ahead and grab your tapestry needle. That way we can close in that gap and stitch on the eyebrows. So with this remaining tail, let's go ahead and place the eyebrows. So we're gonna insert and go over right here, right next to the eye. 1, 2. Push that through and then go up 1 and over 3. Same thing on this side. I think I'm gonna go over just a little bit on that one and go back this way. Like so. So just however you want them to be even. And then secure that in place. And then go ahead and grab a little bit of black yarn and a little bit of your skin tone yarn. So I like to add this eye detail. And I'm going to insert some black yarn and kind of just pop it through and bring it over to the corner of the eye, like so. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up to, so this is the middle of the eye, and we're gonna go over, but we're gonna push the yarn back this way. Don't push it out that way. It's gonna help create like this little slant above the eye like that. And then go ahead and push your yarn through, making sure you're not pulling too tight, because you don't want to have it bunch up anywhere. And let's bring it around over to the other eye. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing. This is the middle of the eye right here. You see that right there? We're gonna go over to this, so middle, pop it over to this side, but then push it back through this way. And that's going to give us those eye details right there. Just feel like it helps with expression. And then weave in your yarn like so, and let's get this one weaved in. And let's go ahead and place our nose. You can make the nose bigger, smaller, whatever you like. So I want to make sure that we're even with the eyes. So I'm gonna go in between this stitch right here and right there. And I'm gonna pull my yarn through and then wrap it around like so. And I'm gonna make it relatively small and then weave this one in. We'll get the other side real quick. That's gonna help secure it. And so I just like a cute little, a little nose. I don't want nothing too big. And so I'm going to weave this one in like so. And then we have our nose right there. Just something cute. And let's do our blush. So I like to apply a little blush to the cheeks and above the nose on this one. So I have my blush and my blush brush, or just like an eye makeup applicator. This is my favorite one. It's the e.l.f. one. And so I go under the eye and over the cheek, under the eye, over here, and then a little bit above the nose. I don't know, I just think it's cute. And then I take the excess off the brush, and then I'm going to blend that through here. And there we go. And that is our face detail. So that is this portion right here of just the doll. That way, whether you want to make this a girl, you could add different hairstyles, which I will have in other tutorials that will be attached to this video, considering the hair and a dress. Or you could take the blush away, you can make this a boy doll, or you can make, you know, an animal out of it, a bear or a bunny. There is so much you could do, but for now I will be attaching the hair and the dress tutorial. It'll be linked below in the description box. It's nothing you're gonna have to wait for. You could literally go to the description box and find a hair tutorial and a dress tutorial for this specific doll. All right, you are all finished. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Again, in the description box below, you can find the direct tutorial to make this dress and this hairstyle. I will have separate tutorials on different characters, hairstyles, and clothing coming in the future. But the main thing is, for this specific tutorial, you will have access to these right away. And then as I continue to work, I will have different tutorials on characters coming soon. I would love to see your work. So please tag me on Instagram when you guys create your dolls for these. Another thing that's coming is a mermaid, so removable mermaid tail, which can incorporate any kind of specific princess, if you get what I'm saying. So I have loved making this. It has definitely been a process. I hope that you guys did too. Please comment below. Let me know what you think of this new pattern, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified anytime I come out with a new tutorial. And as always, I look forward to crocheting with you guys again next time.